Hello, I'm Jason Wong. I'm a realtor broker here in the state of Hawaii. This segment, I want to talk about one of the hottest issue that just came up recently is about monster houses in Oahu, especially. Um, there was a time we had a lot of new construction happening on these single-family houses. Uh, the developer or the homeowner, they are pretty savvy about the building code and also the allowance for certain structure that is allowed on a lot. So we end up having some of these single family zoning building lot that has a monster houses. By monster houses, to be honest, I believe the city and county of Honolulu, they do have a definition about how many unit considered to be monster houses. But as a common local here, you can spot them really easily because you can see how many doors, windows, and how deep. So sometimes most of these are, so not most of these, sometimes you can really easily recognize that they are one long lot. The lot is actually very rectangular, it's a very long shape, but the house is kind of like having a very minimal setback, and then they build all the maximum lot frontage of the depth in order to maximize how many rooms that they can build. And in these monster houses, they have a different model. Some of them is they have a shared kitchens, but they do have a individual suite with all ensuite bathroom. So it's like you have your own little condos living there. And some of them they also kind of the kitchen actually is a tricky thing because a lot of a single family during they only allow for one kitchen in the building lot. So the thing is, a lot of time they may have a central kitchen or something like that, so that is shared by all these different people or renters who are living over there. But at the same time, they have all these kind of like a mini suite, like everybody they have their own bathroom and their own dedicated bedroom. So the thing is, one of the monster houses can easily have 8 units, 12 units. In some cases, they may even have I won't say 20 units, that would be too many, but I think having 12 units or 15 units, that's quite a lot. And why the city and county of Honolulu, the city council members, they are having a lot of they're plotting to have a lot of action plan to take active measure and to stop this monster houses phenomenon is the neighborhood that these monster houses are being built on. A lot of time the infrastructure doesn't support that many traffic going in and out. And one thing that people always mention about, let's say if each of these mini suite is occupied by uh, even for a couple or even for one person, and if each of these room, let's say if there's a 12 rooms, each of the rooms they have one car, one pickup truck or one minivan or even a sedan. Think about like how many parking they need in order to on the street in order to fulfill that. But the thing is, there's a local resident. They also depending on the street parking, because sometimes the lot that they are living is kind of like a not landlocked, but they cannot really park the car inside, or it's the old design of the plan. You really cannot get the car inside of the property, so you do need to park on the street. So the thing is that it causes a lot of inconvenience for a lot of neighbors who are living in next to these monster houses. And also the other thing, the big part is the sewage, the septic tank, and also the like how can they make sure the utility is not maxed out. Because think about like at the same time like 12 unit having 12 people flushing the toilet or drawing power, all of these may consider to be hazard to the neighborhood. So the infrastructure that was dedicated for this building lot used to be just having maybe five bedrooms, 5 bedrooms or even 4 bedrooms, single family house, having one household to occupy. So very likely you won't have all 4 or 5 people in that household to flush the toilet at the same time. But if you're building a monster houses and each of them are actually living over there full time, so I'm not even talking about like some of the unit have 2 people occupy 1 bedroom, but if it is every one of them have 1 person occupy and you have really 12 people flushing the toilet or drawing power, it will be actually quite concerning. So the thing is, the city council member, they are trying to find a way to stop it, or even they're thinking about penalize some of the homeowner who are operating monster houses business. From the real estate point of view, we just want to make sure these kind of structure, they don't impose any danger to the neighborhood, because the infrastructure in Honolulu in general is not really top rated, because of all the not the statistics, all the survey that they have done on a national basis. Honolulu infrastructure always ranked one of the lowest. So the thing is, a lot of time we just want to make sure safety is the #1 concern, and then the other thing is about the noise. Whether you will generate excessive noise because you have so many cars going in and out, and you also have so many households living in this single family lot. So people do have concern about will they generate in a lot of noise pollution and also traffic issue for neighbor to going in and living next to these houses. So all these are valid concerns. So the thing is, on the contrary, people who are the proponent, supporter about monster houses, I can also understand the point of view. One thing is because the cost of living here in Honolulu is so high, so more or less people just want to find another way to have more rental supply. So the more options for renters, that helps to kind of stabilize the rental rates. And that's really true, because the thing is, if the rental inventory is very tight, then landlord will be driving up the rental rates a lot higher. So as a renter or to those renter, I can totally understand why they don't want the city to be too harsh on these monster houses, because this is kind of like one of the living options that they can pick. Not that many people, they can just go out and rent a condos and call it home, because condo wise depends on the lease structure. Sometimes the lease require the tenants, if it is a long-term lease, to be responsible some of the HOA fee or some other upkeeping maintenance budget. So the thing is, if people they can allow to live in these kind of monster houses as an individual unit, as long as the infrastructure can support and the capacity hasn't been maxed out in that neighborhood, and there's a proper city ordinance being applied to these kind of like a superstructure, that would be a way to kind of like coexist with these monster houses, because we really have a shortage of affordable rentals, not affordable housing, affordable rental. A lot of people, they don't even have the money for the down payment, so they were talking about affordable housing. Sometimes I think it's a little bit misleading. It's more like affordable rental, to help people who can kind of pay a little bit below the market rates, and then they can get under a shelter. So that also helps for the homeless issues here in Honolulu quite a bit. So by all means, these monster house issues, if you look at the both sides, they do have their own merit, and so I won't say which side is 100% right and which side is 100% wrong, but definitely there needs to have a lot more open dialogue between both parties in order to make the best decision for the residents here in Oahu. Thank you.